Hi guys, hope you're well. I've got many people asking me what is happening to my Karama Reaver boat, and especially the V8 engine, the Cison V8 engine from EngineDiy. Now, I've been forced to send that engine back because I've been asking for a refund because it's never worked in its life, and I've been sent like 6 sensor boards, distributor tops, God knows what else. And the last upgrade was supposed to be the best one yet. And honestly, it lasted like 2 starting attempts and a couple of pops, and it failed. So all they come up with, I keep asking to refund my money because they're saying like the engine is fit for a ship, a car, an aeroplane, a tank, and all that kind of thing. And honestly, the engine isn't fit for any of that, and they're selling a product that isn't sort of serving the purpose to what it was advertised for or made for. Now, if you go on YouTube, there's only kind of 2 videos that I've seen of actually running, and that's a Johnny Q's engine, which you only see sort of go across the pavement and back again and rev up and all that. You don't actually see it do half an hour run or anything like that. It just starts up and it runs and that's it. But if you look at that engine, it's totally different, totally different to what you can buy of Cison and EngineDiy. Now, I've asked them about this and they're saying that, I know Johnny Q works with EngineDiy and Cison, and, his engine is totally different. And what they're saying to me is that if I send my engine back, these are their words, not mine, send the engine back to Cison, EngineDiy, whatever you want to call them, I don't know anymore, and they will look at it and repair it. Well, they're saying repair it as though I've broken it. The engine doesn't need repairing, it just needs a whole new design, and a distributor that works, an ignition that works. You can't repair something that has been designed absolutely wrong. It's not just me who's had this problem. Although EngineDiy will keep telling you that you're the only one that's had this problem. But I've been online because of this engine. I've had it over a year now, and it's never run. And there are loads of guys out there, loads, all coming to me and saying we've got exactly the same problem. It won't start, the ignition's no good. Some say I'm on my 14th sensor board, they're like it's a joke or whatever. I feel sorry for them guys, But the engine is wrong. It is not, it's not made to actually work. It's made to just start up once and impress your friends with a V8 on a desk for what? It cost me $1,800 that I actually wanted to go in a model, which they said it would. But when you look at the engine, it's deeply flawed because it hasn't got pressurised main bearings, it hasn't got a pressurised crankshaft, so it relies on like a drip feed of oil from the top to actually lubricate the big ends, the main bearings, and the com rods and all that. It's just got a drip feed on them. Now that engine will not sort of take any kind of abuse, like power. If you put it in a boat and you want to go around the lake for 20 minutes, that's probably not going to last you like 5 minutes because the crankshaft needs to be pressurised. It needs to be drilled. When I bought it, I thought, oh, well, it's got an oil pump on it, great, and a water pump, which had never worked. And I thought, with an oil pump, that's going to be a really good engine, But when I got it, my doubts were sort of arose when I started building it. And when I took the crankshaft out, I thought, well, it's not been drilled. It's not pressurised. And I thought, how does the oil get onto the crank, And then I found out it was just dripping down from the top of the engine, which is kind of, absolutely wrong, You wouldn't get that in a car engine and you wouldn't get it in a V8 engine, The engine is deeply flawed. And no matter what you do with that engine, you're never going to fix it unless you've got a pressurised crankshaft and big end bearings and someone who knows what they're doing to actually build them. Who designed this, I do not know. It's all about EngineDiy is all about eye candy. Excuse me. It's all about eye candy and the anodised bits and all that kind of thing, you know. And I've been fighting this every inch of the way now because I am sort of sick of the engine. So I have been kind of blackmailed to send the engine back for repair, which isn't a repair, like I've just said. The engine doesn't work. It's not broken, it's just built and it doesn't work. So they're selling engines that do not work. Now, I have tried and tried. It's almost every night I'm emailing them, contacting them saying, I do not want the engine back. I want a full refund because the engine is not fit for the purpose that it was made. It's not any good for a boat. It's not any good for a ship. It's not any good for an aeroplane. It's not any good for a tank. You know, the engine is just not any good whatsoever. And I don't want one engine back to go in my beautiful boat. I'm going to think of something else to do to it, you know. I mean, it's been sitting out in the garage all this time. It's like absolutely covered in dust where I cut it all up. And like a year later, now I haven't got the engine because I've been forced to send it back, you know. And it was £86 to send it back, you know, which I've asked, are they going to refund that money? Which they kind of don't. It's like they just switch off, you know. I don't know if they don't translate my emails properly, or you know, you never know who you're talking to. Never. I've got this one person who calls I don't know if it's a woman or a bloke, Rebecca, you know, and I can message her, and I can message Lucas, I believe. They're all called Lucas, and I just get the same answer now. There's, we're sending it to Cison engineers to check it over to find what's wrong, and we can repair it and show you a video of it running and send it back to you. Well, it could be anyone's engine, couldn't it? It don't have to be mine. They could send me anyone. So I said, no, I want a refund. I want my $1,800 back in my PayPal account now. You can keep the engine. It's no good. I don't want anything back like that. And now they're say that, excuse me, I'm getting a bit of a rant on. And now they're saying to me that they'll send me back a Q90 engine, which I believe is a Johnny Q engine, you know, which looks totally different to ours. But, you know, deep down, it's going to be the same engine. You know, it might start and run for a bit longer, but it's never going to be any good for a boat, ship, tank or plane, because Johnny Q's videos, you just see like the truck go on a bit of dirt one way, come back the other way. You don't see it going round a track or doing anything. Now, no, I don't want one of those engines. I want my money back so I can buy something decent to put in this boat. I don't know what's going to go in it yet, a Zen or something like that, a small petrol engine or something like that, because it will be reliable. You know, you think what a model this would have been if I could have had a V8 in there. I mean, a lot of you guys that follow me, subscribe if you will, you know, and hit the button. This is the empty engine bay. You know, I had to cut all this out. What have I got left in there? I've got the trigger for the starter motor left. I've got the first ignition box, which they said, they sent me an upgrade one, but I believe it's exactly the same. You know, they'll chuck parts at you. They'll keep sending you stuff and saying it's upgrade, but it isn't. It's exactly the same stuff. It's just to try and sort of shut you up. Prop shaft, clutch that I made. You know, all this is hours and hours of my time. You know, totally wasted. I made my own clutch up, all the exhaust and everything like that. Totally wasted. You know, on an engine that I thought was going to actually work. Here's the other part of the clutch. You know, I mean, lots and lots of work on that. This was all part. This went on the back of the flywheel, as you know. But you know, I'm in their hands now. You know, which is not good. I sent them back the $1,800 engine. I've got nothing now. They're not answering my problems. They'll just keep saying the same thing over and again. You know, I think I'm entitled to a refund because this engine is not what it says. No, it is. It is V8 engine, yes, got 8 cylinders, blah, blah, blah. But mine's never run. I know lots of people that have bought these engines and they don't run. And when you sort of criticise the company, they're sort of saying that you've done it, you've broke the engine and what you've done. And, you know, I've got people saying, oh, you built it wrong and all that, you know. But, you know, you guys who follow me, you know all my builds, the time and the effort I put into them and how I try and make them look sort of totally real. You know, my Mojave 4-cylinder trucks and stuff like that. You know, and like this boat would have been, can you imagine this boat with a V8 in it, a proper V8 like the real one, going around the lake, you know. It's just such a shame, you know. Sort of I'm heartbroken in one respect that the engine's no good. But I've really, you know, even now, I'm glad it's out of my sight because every time you look at it, you think, oh, $1,800 there. What's it do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What's it done for a year? Nothing. Just caused me grief. You know, and I mean massive grief and heartache, you know, heartache of spending hours on this boat, keep putting the engine in, and the engine keeps failing. Cison, EngineDiy, send me new parts, they don't work. Nothing works on it. The engine is, you know, it is no good. I keep trying to sort of get the message across to you guys. If you want an engine to put on a desk and just say, you know, your mates come round and go, oh, look, boom, start it. Rev, that's it. But mine didn't even do that, you know. To be honest, mine never did that. So if you want to put it in anything, you're going to struggle, you know, because the engine will break. You can't run a V8 engine with, you know, without a pressurised oil system. Pressurised, you know, com rods and crankshaft, main bearings, you know. They're sort of like, with all these Chinese engines, they think, oh, we've fit a ball race, you know, and things like that. But you don't. You need proper shell bearings that are pressurised. Okay, the V8 has got shell bearings on the com rods, but the main bearings are ball races, you know, at the end. And, you know, they're not pressure fed. They've got to be pressure fed with the oil, otherwise you're going to get nowhere. They give you an oil filter. What's in the oil filter? Nothing. It's an empty chamber. And they say fill it up with foam or something. I mean, why would you make an oil filter and not actually put something in it? You know, it's up to you. And I suppose if you did put something in it and it found its way into the oil pump and it died, that would be down to you then. So that's another thing that's not been designed right. You know, there is nothing on that engine that has been designed for it to, you know, run for a long period of time and be reliable, and just to run it in your boat or your car or your tank or your aeroplane, you know, it will not run. It will run for like 5 minutes, like I say, mine didn't, but it will not be reliable. It's a deeply flawed engine, you know. So anyone thinking about buying this engine or buying stuff from Cison or buying stuff from EngineDiy and Sterling Kit, I believe they're all the same. Do not do it. Keep your money. I was unfortunate that I kind of got this boat and I thought what a build it will be with a V8 in the back. And everyone said, oh, it's going to be fantastic. And now all I get is like a year on, oh, how's the V8 going? Oh, it's broken. Again? Yes. Okay, a couple of months go past, how's the V8? It's broken. Again? Yeah, it's never run. All the parts have thrown at me. Never run. And now I've been forced into sending it back, which I would have done if they'd refund my money. I would have sent it back. So I'm sort of blackmailed. Unless I send it back, they're not going to do anything about it. So I've had to send it back. And they're saying, you know, they can repair it when it's not broken. It just don't work. So that's where I am with that. So, you know, I'm a bit sorry for a bit of a rant, but this, you know, my last few videos about this boat, I've had a rant because it's just driving me up the wall. Why can't they just give me my money back and that'd be done with it? And, you know, help out all these guys that have bought this engine. I have given them a list of names. I've sent them emails. I've sent them pictures and they completely ignore it. Right? Completely ignore it. So this is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with engine DIY, Sterling kit, and Cison engines, and all those, the importers of these engines, you know, they do not send you anything back. They'll send something like, oh yeah, we'll look into it. They'll send you something back like, oh, we'll send new parts out for you, which is exactly the same as the old parts. Anything to shut you up. But, you know, and I've even been asked to take down my videos, you know. EngineDiy have asked me to take down the videos, which I'm not. Because, you know, there's guys out there like me who don't earn a lot of money, you know, haven't got a lot of cash, but you think once in a lifetime you're going to buy a nice model V8 engine to go in, you know, your dream boat model, and what do you get? I'll tell you what you get. You get like a doorstop or a piece of rubbish. The engine is absolutely terrible. It leaks oil everywhere. The water pump doesn't work. There's just so many things on it, you know. Instructions are bad, you know, whatever. So I'm hoping this video is going to save some of you guys from buying this engine. You know, most of the systems, EngineDiy engines, they're all the same. You know, they look nice and they might run for a little while, and then that's the end of them, you know. Remember my L400? It was breaking crankshaft all the time because it was such a long crankshaft, only supported at two ends. You know, that was another kind of 8 months or 9 months of my life completely wasted trying to get something done about the engine. And what does EngineDiy do? They bring another one out, and they with a 3-bearing crank, and anyone who's bought the old engine are just left in the dark, just forgotten about. And that's what they've done with this V8. They brought another one out, and anyone who's bought the early one, like me, and a lot of other guys, have just been left in the dark. But I just want a refund, you know. I just want to get my money back and get this thing out of the way, and then I'll be happy. So, anyway, guys, sorry, another rant, but I'm just trying to help you out. So, hopefully, in the next one, I can say I've got a refund and I can have a new build of this boat and put something decent in it. So, thanks, guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.